Hello, and thank you for purchasing the Snowman Season Bundle. I hope you enjoy your card class. I'll be back in a moment and we will start with this card right here. For our first little sweet snowman card here, this is what we're going to use. A Whisper White medium envelope. We're going to use a card base of thick Whisper White at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So it'll open like that. Then we're going to have a piece of real red cardstock at 5 1/4 by 4. And then a piece of the Designer Series paper from the Let It Snow Specialty Designer Series paper pack at 5 by 3 3/4. Then I cut this also out of course, you know, that's all that we're using is that paper stack. Aren't these little snowmen cute on the back of this right here? But I wanted the sprinkles of snow because I felt like that cut too many of the snowmen off. So I just wanted like a little background there, and I thought that looked really cute. So these two pieces here are cut from the oval framelits, and this framelit from one side to the other is about 2 7/8. That's about the size of that. And then the scalloped one is like 2 1/2. Okay, so these are, this is the size framelits that I used for this card. Of course, if you were going to be making these yourself. So I like to go over everything with you guys so that, you know, if you're getting your supplies together, that's exactly what you need. Now I have this little piece right here. This is from the rectangle stitched framelits right here. This one is the smallest one, and I love anything stitched. I really like most everything stitched. So with this little piece right here, we're going to go ahead and stamp our Let It Snow. Now the only two colors that I'm using in this card is Coastal Cabana and then our Memento Tuxedo Black ink, because we're going to use some blends. So I'm going to put this on my foam mat. Photopolymer stamps stamp best with a little cushion underneath. This is like hard rubber. It's the piercing mat, the Stampin' Up! Piercing mat. And they really stamp the best. You get the best image like that. Sometimes I do it right down on my surface, only because I have to admit I get a little lazy. And I'm like, well, I won't move that in, but I should. So, like, I'll forget it, and I'm like, oh, I'll just stamp this real quick. So right here into the Coastal Cabana, and we'll go right here and do Let It Snow. Just like that. Perfect. Now, I'm going to add already some dimensionals back here. Just 2. That's it. Then this piece is ready to go on the card when we're at the end of everything, okay? So I'm going to take this and move it to the side. Now, let's do some more stamping. And let's take care of the inside of our card base here. So let's see. This is what I did. Hoping the season builds heartwarming memories. I absolutely love that saying. I've used it on some other cards also. I will mix and match when I'm using other stamp sets. I will go ahead and mix and match my sentiments. I happen to love the Merry Christmas on this set. And so you'll be seeing that used a lot in my Christmas cards because it's very traditional. Now we're going to take the snowflakes. These are pretty snowflakes. And just on one corner and then on the other. Now the inside of our card is done. Let's go ahead and get our envelope done. Just a little here and just a little there. Cute. Very special to embellish your envelope. Takes all of 2 seconds. So I like to kind of try to get most of my stamping done at the beginning of making a card. At least I try to. Sometimes when I'm designing one, it's funny because I go backwards. I stamp the inside of the card first, and then I start to build the outside. I don't know why. Sometimes I do that, but I do. So, you know, it all depends on like what you're thinking about at that time. You know, here with the snowman, this is easy peasy for me because I love the little snowmen. So these were all very easy for me to design because you know, when you get something that you like and you really, really like it, it's really easy to design because, you know, you're in that, I don't know, that mode of using the stamp set. And it's just like stuff comes to you, just like right here, okay? This Merry Christmas. I love the font on that, and I love Merry Christmas. So you'll be seeing me use these two in a lot of cards in this season. Let me get my punch because we're going to need that. I forgot to bring it over. Okay, so here I've moved in while we've been chit-chatting a little bit, this Stamparatus. And because with this next image right here, even though I have it on a block right now, there's a lot of detail to it. Let me hold it up here. There's a lot of detail to it. And when I go in with my Tuxedo Memento black ink, I want it crisp, but I don't want to have to press, you know, the stamp, because then it does spread. It spreads the photopolymer, and then you could get like a thicker image than you really, really want. So I'm going to attach my magnets top and bottom here until I put this little snowman on here. Okay, so I'm going to position him where I want him in my oval. And that really kind of looks good right there to me, right? I'm going to move my magnets over a little bit just to grab more of that paper, okay? Now, what you do is just close the door and your image is right where you need it. See, now, the one thing, did you see how that lifted up and then it bowed a little bit right here? Watch what I do to fix this, because that, well, that might not happen now, but what I do then is I move a magnet. I move it to where that does not happen. So you might need like a magnet right here. Okay, and then maybe one up in this area down in here. Let's see. Try to move him out there. Yeah, see, now we're not getting that lift, okay? I kind of feel like it's off over here just a little bit. I think I moved my paper a little bit. So let's go ahead and reposition this just a tad in there. And, you know, you could keep doing this until you get it right. Sometimes it's best just to reposition. All right, so let's go ahead and move our magnets where we know that I need the sides held down on this project. Right there. Beautiful. Now let's see how when we pick that up. See how it holds it down? It lifted just a little bit down here, but it didn't bow it up. Okay, and I'm clear from the magnets so that I'm going to get a good stamped image. Okay, perfect. Now, we want to take our Tuxedo Memento black ink. Now, with these classes, you know, I try to talk to you guys, and I did not ink that up much, okay? Just a little bit, and I'm going to press. Beautiful. That's a nice image, but I just want it a little bit crisper. So I'm just going to ink that up again, and I'm going to just press lightly. I'm not mashing down on it because, like I said, oh, and that's nice and crisp. Look at that. That is a nice image. So you can use your chamois, or I'm just going to transfer that to a block and then clean it in just a moment. I'll need my chamois for over here. I use that a lot on my Stamparatus. But as we're doing these classes, if you've never taken a class from me before, I just kind of craft with you like you are right in this room with me, okay? So I talk to you about a few things, a little technique, you know, just stuff, and the videos are a little bit more lengthy because I don't stop and edit. I just continue on. Now I want to go ahead and color my snowman. Is it okay? Let me hold this up right here to you guys. Look at that nice crisp image. That Stamparatus is wonderful. A positioning tool is wonderful. I love the Stampin' Up! One, you know, for how much I use it, because I don't use it a whole lot, but when I need it, I need it. Now I'm going to take my blends, and the blends that we're going to use is a light crumb cake, a light granny apple green, the dark daffodil delight, the dark pumpkin pie, and the light cherry cobbler. These are the blends that we're going to use for this little project. Now I'm going to use the thinner point. Have you ever seen these? I'm sure a lot of you have, but if you're new, this is the thin point and this is the brush tip, so the lines are thin and thick, okay? And we're going to take the crumb cake and just color in the little rocks down here, just for a little contrast. Just color on in the white area. And I'm just going to go back over it. You could even use a dark crumb cake if you wanted to. And you could even use a little shading like under here if you wanted to. Just to give it the illusion of the ground. Just like that. Okay? Now, what we want to do is, let's color his little hat. And that's the light cherry cobbler. And again, I'm using the thinner tip because these images are small and I'm afraid that the brush tip would like bleed, okay? And you don't need much. Now this is the dark pumpkin pie, and we're going to use that for his little carrot nose. So I don't know why, but I just think snowmen are happy, and they are, you know, but I really like them. Whenever I see them, I'm like, oh, I love that. It's a snowman, you know, so I've always been that way. Even like last year, anything that we did with snowmen, I bought. So I'm taking my light granny apple green and I'm going to do his hat and his scarf. And I'm just coloring inside those little lines right there. Okay, every other, and I'll do that on the scarf also. These lines right here. And then the other color I'm going to use is the dark daffodil delight. So about the snowman, okay? When I was a kid, I lived in Colts Neck, New Jersey, and we would have these tremendous snow storms in New Jersey. And, you know, because it was Jersey, it was just the way it was. And so we would be out of school for days sometimes. And so, excuse me. So the, now I'm going to the dark daffodil delight. So I'm an only child. And so like there wasn't anybody to play with. And, you know, you kind of didn't want to stay in the house constantly. So I remember going out into my yard and rolling the whole yard, okay, in snowballs to where they were so large I couldn't pick them up and make a snowman because I had literally just like started with a little snowball and just started going like zigzagging on the yard, and all of a sudden, without even knowing it, right, I make this huge snowball. And so then of course, you know, I make another one, and then I looked and I was like, oh, I don't have a little one to make the snowman. So then again, I had to roll some more snow and make sure that I stopped to make the smaller ones. And then they would, you know, to get on top of each other. But the bottom one was like half the yard. It was huge. At least to me as a kid, it was huge. And I so remember that. And I don't know if that's why that I'm like, oh, these are so sweet. Now I'm going to attach this to here with some snail because we're just going to put this down flat. But I don't know if that's when I just started liking little snowmen, that I was so proud that I cleaned up the yard and and made like these masterful huge snowballs, and then made them into snowmen. They were really kind of cute on the front yard. So, but that's my story about the snowmen. I think that's really where it all started, because I remember that memory is so vivid, like in my mind, you know. So just fun. Okay, so dimensionals on this, very easy. And I try to, like, as I'm going through and making a card, I try to do these little steps. This way at the end, you know, you're just putting it together and it's fun. Okay, so there's our snowman all colored, and there's our dimensionals, and he'll go in our little pile over here with our Let It Snow. Now I'm going to bring in the 10-second bow maker, and you can make a bow any way you want. This is the curly ribbon, which is really fun, because then it kind of let me show you this. It fluffs like this. So that's nice. I think that makes a nice fluffy effect. Softness. So I just have a little piece here. And as you see, I'm using the 10-second bow maker. Now you can purchase a 10-second bow maker at 10secondbowmaker.com. I use this a lot. My bows come out perfect. And I'm just going to cut that so that it's even. This will shred out also. See? Just like that. Oh, isn't that cute? Okay, so we're going to move this here. And really with that, I want a glue dot. So we'll put these on in just a moment, because this might stick to my surface. So we'll move that aside. Whenever I finish like a part, I just move it to the side. Okay, now where are we at? We are at the base, right? Let's go ahead and move our base back in. And we're going to attach our real red. And again, this measurement is 5 1/4 by 4. Just with some snail. Am I running out? Of course I am. I'm on camera, right? If you guys follow me, you know my snail runs out on camera only. There we go. But I've always got one hanging around. They're all over the craft room, really. I keep like 3 or 4 of them out. So this we're going to attach and leave that nice white border around our card. And then, even though this side is just beautiful, because we'll use this on another card, look at the sparkles on those trees. Isn't that so pretty? Sometimes I hate putting adhesive on this side, but I want my stripes. So here we go. And now I want my stripes up and down, not side to side. And now we're going to leave a nice real red border around this piece so that it just kind of stacks it and layers it. Isn't that pretty? And see, our inside is already stamped and done. Our envelope is already done. And now we just get to put everything together. I'm going to take the Let It Snow and put it down here, kind of like on the lower third of the card. And I'm going to take my little bow that we just made and a mini glue dot right here. And I'm just going to stick that right there and pull that off with it. There we go. And I'm going to stick that right up here above our Let It Snow. Cute. Just adorable. And now we're going to take our adorable snowman and put him right here. It really makes the card. I cannot believe I love Coastal Cabana, but I cannot believe how much I really seriously love this color combination. And you've heard me say it. Now I'm going to add some charcoal with this embellishment kit. This is the embellishment kit. And I've ordered 2 more kits because I'm almost out of this one. Look at all that I have left. This is all I have left. So I need to make a shaker card with that. But this is a lot of fun, and that washi tape is beautiful. This is a great gift. If you have a friend that is like a crafter, that is a wonderful gift for them. Now on these buttons, I'm going to use a small piece of coal on the top one and then a larger piece of coal on the lower one. Just want to get that over there to cover that white space up. Whoop. There we go. Okay, now around here with the snowflakes, I wanted some rhinestones. I like rhinestones. I love all of our embellishments. I go to rhinestones like none other. It's like my go-to or something. I don't know. So here on the Let It Snow, we're going to add 2. But I always think that it just adds a little bit to have these rhinestones on a card. Now, each and every snowflake is going to get a rhinestone. I thought that made him very happy. Just like this. Oh, so cute. And as you can see, as we're putting these rhinestones, it's just really bringing the card to life. If you have that puff paint, you can use that. I wanted a little bit of bling bling on it. Isn't that cute? Here is our first project, our first card for this class. There we go. Back in a minute, we'll do the second one. We're now going to make this sweet little card. And this is like a fancy fold card, but it's very, very simple to make. So, and again, Whisper White envelope with our snowflakes in Coastal Cabana, which is absolutely perfect with this real red. Just so pretty. So here we go here. So let's bring our elements in. We're going to use our scallop circles here and here. Okay, the white one on the bottom, almost like it's a snowball for the snowman, okay? And these are the sizes of the layering circle framelits. They're both scalloped on this one. The largest one is approximately 3 inches from one side to the other. And then the smaller one is like 2 3/4. 2 3/4. They nest perfectly, just like that. And that's what we're going to use there. All right. Now let's see. Let's talk about our card base here. Let's move these out of the way first. This is our card base, or this was our card base, just like this. Okay, this is of real red, and it's 11 by 4 1/4 scored at 5 1/2. So cut it already 11 by 4 1/4, score it at 5 1/2 like you're making a portrait style card, and then turn it to the side, open it up, and cut off 2 1/2 inches. And that's what this little piece is right here. Okay, so cut off 2 1/2 inches. Very simple. And then we open it like this. And I mean, you can open it like that and orientate it like that also. But I did mine like this. Okay, so that's how we cut that up. And then our inside piece is Whisper White at 5 1/4 by 4. We're going to do some stamping on that. We're going to move this out of the way. And we have a small piece of DSP right here, the stripes. Now when you cut this, make sure that your stripes are going this way, okay? So watch, this has to be 5 1/4, and then this has to be 1 1/2. 5 1/4 by 1 1/2 is this piece of DSP. And it's just the other side of the mittens, because everything coordinates, which is very, very nice. Now our other piece of DSP with the mittens that's going to go on the outside of the card right here is 4 by 2 3/4. 4 by 2, 4 this way, 2 3/4 this way. So you'll cut a piece like this. Let's go ahead and attach this to the outside of the card while we're just on a roll here with this. We'll just use a little snail and get this part out of the way. I like to put my snail all around the edges and just a little bit in the middle just to hold it. Just like that. And use your real red as your border nicely there. Very, very nice. Now we can also, because we don't have to do any stamping, we're just going to put our red medallion on top of our white using snail. Right here. And we're going to move that to the side. And now let's bring in our foam mat. And this is our piece of regular Whisper White that's 5 1/4 by 4. And now we're orientating this like a landscape way, okay, because it's going to go in here. But if you're doing it like that, it's still going to go in there like that too. So, but this will orientate like that. And what I need some scrap paper real quick there. Let me just tear a piece off here, so that I don't have too much going on with the paper there. Yeah, tear that off too. It's just some old computer paper, you know, because we want to stamp in this section right here our snowflakes. So I've got my Coastal Cabana open, and I'm going to take my snowflakes. Well, first we're going to do, first we're going to do Let It Snow in real red, because the snowflakes go around the Let It Snow in real red. And then we're just going to place this in this upper portion right here of the card. Perfect. Now, if you need to have a little bit of a measurement, I know this is fine because it's just in from there a little bit, but if you need to just kind of eyeball that, close it, and you're fine. See, if you're just over in that corner a little bit. All right, now we'll go ahead and add our snowflakes. So I want to go on and off the page. That's why I'm using a little scrap paper here. And I'm just going to come around this way. But I'm also leaving room enough for a nice sentiment. And when you do something like this, each card can be different on how you put your snowflakes in here. And that's good enough for me. Perfect. Okay, because again, when you put this in here and close it, that's fine. Now we're going to put this strip across the bottom now. That's why we came down a little lower with our snowflakes, so that it looks like they go right into that part of the DSP. Let me move this out of the way. And let's go ahead and attach this with snail. Got a little glue on my card there. Okay. So right here, right down in that corner. And right across. Now, this is the time, if you have just a little bit of overhang, top or bottom, this is the time to fix it. Either move your paper or trim it off. Okay, so I'm going to trim. Sometimes you can relift it, you know, and do that. And this really isn't even that much to fussy with, but I like it perfect, I'll tell you. Even if it's that much of a scrap. I like it to be right to the bottom there. So just trimming just a little bit of that off. I probably could have come up on the card just a hair, and then I wouldn't be doing this, right? And this is really not even needing it. Here we go. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so we have all of that going on. And now we can add this part to the inside of our card. We'll get this out of the way. And we'll just use some snail. And we're going to attach it in here, leaving our nice real red border. Because we've cut it back 1/4 of an inch, we have an 1/8 of an inch border. Could get that a little bit further up here. Let me look up here. See, I'm looking up here at these corners and then attaching that so that that's nice. Just like that. Oh, So cute, right? Okay, now we get to do our snowman. So let's talk about this punch. This punch, it's intricate. It's not, well, I shouldn't say intricate. It's close, okay? Between the hat and the arms and everything, it's a very close punch. And a lot of times I will go ahead and punch this out of white cardstock and then use a template in my Stamparatus. These are really small, and I found it best just to, this is like 1.5 inches right here. Let's see, this is, yeah, 1.5 inches by 4.25. Yeah, almost 4.5, almost 4.5. It's just a piece of scrap, okay? And I want my Tuxedo Memento black ink, and I want my snowman. And I'm going to just stamp him right down here. He's perfect. Now, my hat is to the side, okay? So I want my hat at the bottom here with the brim at the top so that I can stick that in there. And we're going to do this in black. Perfect. All right? So let's just stop right there for just a moment and get these two things punched out. First, we're going to do the hat. Put it in your punch. Line it up. It's got a nice white border. And punch your little hat. Cute. That other little piece is like a nose, but I'm going to color his nose. And now this width, it doesn't, you know, I'm not wasting a lot of paper. I'm just going to punch out my snowman. I found it just to be so much easier to do it like this. Okay? Now that bottom piece right there, I'm going to just snip this off. Get that out of the way. Let me pull these little pieces out of the way. Okay. Okay, so I've got that out of the way. Now, the little arms orientate that way. Okay? So when I'm going to want to do this one first. This one toward the outside. So you want it to be down. And I want to use crumb cake. And here. Okay. And now, let's see, is it crumb? Yeah, crumb cake's good. You can use crumb cake, early espresso. I like, the crumb cake looks like wood to me, stick. So right there is the little arm, okay? I'm just going to punch him out. And then I'm going to stamp the other one. And this one goes up. Right there. Okay. And I'm just going to put this back into the punch. Here's our one that's cut and stamped. I'm going to put this back into the punch and do this one too. Or you could do two of the other ones. It doesn't matter. They're just his little arms. Perfect. So I just found that I lined everything up better if I did it that way. And honest guys, that is a piece of scrap paper. You could use little scraps to do all of this with. Now, here is my snowman. And I want my, what color did I use? Yes, Pool Party, light Pool Party blend. And I took my light Pool Party blend and gave him just a little shading on this side. Just around. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And that's all that we did with that. Now, with this, I'm going to use, well, actually, let's see. I want my real red and my pumpkin pie. Not real red. I'm using cherry cobbler for his cheeks. I want little rosy cheeks. Just like that. And then pumpkin pie blend for his nose. Now, I'm going to add some of the coal to his buttons. 2 small ones on the top and 2 small ones on the bottom. Very easy, because these are just shiny and they're just fun. I make sure I cover up my white space with the little ones. You could use 4 big ones, but I like the graduation in the size. And then right here. Fun. Isn't he cute? He's really coming together. Now, the little hat. What we're going to do with the little hat is, because the space is so small, I don't know if it's me with the blends or the space is very small, but I tend to really just make a mess. So I'm going to use my watercolor pencils. Okay, what I have here is Real Red, Basic Black, Daffodil Delight, and Old Olive. The Old Olive we're going to use on the little holly leaves up here. Now you can hit this with some water and make it look watercolored, but again, the space is very small, guys, and you could risk like it bleeding into itself even with the watercolor, and I was fine with the way the pencils looked. You know, you can even do his face with pencils if you wanted to and not use the blends. Okay, the little berries in Cherry Cobbler. Or I'm sorry, Real Red. I'm doing that in Real Red. I have a Real Red pencil for that. And then the little decorative part on his hat, I'm doing in Daffodil Delight. Just to add that little bit of yellow. Such pretty Christmas colors, right? Now I'm going to use my black, and I happen to really like the pencil on the hat because it makes it look a little weathered, and I thought that looked fun. Like he'd been out in the snow. Just like that. And make sure you get inside these little areas in here with the black. It does tend to make a little bit of a shading difference, and it makes it look very nice to have that, just that little hint of black around that green and the red. It's very subtle, but it does make a difference. And there's his hat. Isn't that cute? Ah, I love the color. Let's see, I think I need a little bit more Daffodil Delight in that corner. Okay, now I'm happy. Okay, now let's put him together. Let's bring our card in. And what we want to do is attach our medallion half on and half off. Okay, like this. So I'm just going to flip it over, and I'm going to put dimensionals on this side. So just kind of hold it there and eyeball it, and then put it to the left. Just a little bit, okay? Get another one here. There. All right, now we know that we're not going to be seeing we won't be seeing the dimensionals now that we did that. Just flip it over and just eyeball it. Now take this, open this up, and just attach this. This is why you don't put your snowman on first, because you could get it crooked. So because it's a circle, you won't. So just attach this top and bottom right there. Okay, just like that. So first you attach your circle. Now we're going to attach our little guy right here. I'm going to use some dimensionals with him. Let's see, 2 large ones for sure. Right here. And I don't know, I think that top could take a large one, right? Yeah, perfect. Okay. So 3 large ones right there, and we're going to put him in the center of our circle. Now we know that our little guy is lined up. Our little arms, get some Tombow. Very easy. I'm going to hold that kind of in the middle there so I have everything exposed. Get that. Okay. Now we'll put a little Tombow on the tips of these guys. Very little, honest, that's even too much on that one. But Tombow dries clear, right? So we don't worry. And then now we're going to attach his little hand here. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, he looks so cute. When we build him, doesn't he become like he gets his personality as we build him? I just love that. Fun. And again, just a little Tombow on the tips. And just right up here. And I want to tuck him kind of behind his body so that you don't see the end of the stick. Now his little hat, that I'm going to use a mini dimensional on. That's the perfect size for that hat. And we're almost done. In fact, we are done. Well, how did that happen? I'm going to put his hat to the side with that dimensional, and didn't he just come to life? Just like Frosty the Snowman in the cartoon, right? We made one come to life. Okay, I forgot to do my envelope with my snowflakes. There we go. And here we are. Again, this is our second card. So much fun. Just a little fancy fold right there. Remember, just cutting off 2.5 inches absolutely gives you just a different look to a card. Fun. Thanks again for watching this second video, and now we will move on to the third. And here we go with our third card. This card will teach you how to layer all kinds of cardstock. Just because we're using Christmas at this point doesn't mean that you couldn't use a different type of cardstock, different colors, but the kind of like almost like a card sketch itself would stay the same, with these layers being just like this and the circle here, but you would just use different cardstock. So this is the card that we're going to make, and here's the inside. And with this, I just use Coastal Cabana Real Red and Tuxedo Memento Black ink. Let's go over, of course, we've got our envelope here. We'll decorate that in a moment. And we have our card base. This is thick Whisper White cardstock, 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2, so it opens like this, and this is called a portrait style. Our first piece of Real Red is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. I wanted just a teeny tiny border around there, and that's exactly what we're going to adhere down now. Just with some snail. All of this is done with snail or Tombow. Usually any card is done with either snail or Tombow. You don't have to use snail. You could always use Tombow. And Tombow is extremely inexpensive, and you get a lot of it for your buck. Just off to one side a little bit there before we commit. A lot of times I like using the Tombow because I get that nice wiggle room that someone like me needs, because I have trouble getting things centered. And if you always have trouble getting things centered, you just have trouble getting things centered. So I don't know what else to say about that, because I've been crafting for years, even before I became a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I've always had trouble getting things centered. You know, and I have friends that they could look at something, it's centered in a second. Okay, so let's use this paper, except we're not using the side with the hats, and this does have some glimmer on it. I love that. It's so pretty on those little hats right there. But I want this as my background, and then this piece of DSP is 5 1/4 by 4. So we're going to leave just a very thin border of red all the way around. And with this, we can go ahead and attach this with snail also. Right here at the top. And just leaving like a 1/16 of an inch of a border all the way around on that. That's perfect. Okay? Our next set of layering is going to be this long section. and this is 2 1/4 by 5 1/4, and your DSP is 2 by 5. So this is cut down 1/4 of an inch, and it'll give you a nice 1/8 of an inch border on either side. So we're going to attach this, but this time we're going to put the snail on the snowflake side. Just by turning the DSP, you get a whole different effect. And fun. So we're going to attach this to our real red, and again, the real red is 2 1/4 this way by 5 1/4 this way, because we want it to go the length of this DSP right here. So a nice border just right there. And now again, some snail. And this is just the way, you know, to layer things, give your card dimension, and it makes for interesting focal points. Now, I'm not going to put this in the middle. I'm off to the left just a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh, that is just beautiful. I love that. Now, here's our next phase of layering, and this piece of real red is 4 by 1 1/4, and then the DSP is 1 inch by 3 3/4. 1 inch by 3 3/4. So again, we have that nice, well, we don't. I need to cut that back. Let me do that right quick. Let me make sure. Okay, that's 4. This real red is 4 by 1 1/4. And then the DSP needs to be, I want it to go all the way across, so definitely 4. Okay, definitely 4 this way. Yes, okay, we're good. By 3/4 this way, right? No, by 1 inch. I'm sorry, 4 by 1 inch. This is 4 by 1 inch. Because we want it to continue on. I want the entire length of this, but I don't want, you know, I don't want a border around the edges, is what I'm saying on like left and right. I want a border just top and bottom. So if that makes sense, we'll go through those measurements again because I got a little cattywampus on that. Let me go ahead and attach this, and we'll leave that nice little border, but we're attaching exactly to this edge of real red. And now is the time, if anything hangs over, to go ahead and trim it, but it doesn't. So let's go ahead and do this again. The real red is 1 1/4 by 4, and your DSP is 1 by 4 to get this effect here, where now we don't have the real red showing here at the ends. Now this one will come across here, and see, I didn't want it to go all the way out to this red right here. Let me bring this really up here. Okay, we didn't need 2 layers of red. So it's actually, this first layer is going to make it look like we have that there, okay? But we really don't. But we didn't need it doubled. I guess that's what I'm saying on that. So we want to put our snail here. And with this layer, make sure that your snail is way to the end here. Sometimes I just flick it there, because you really want it to connect. And now this one, and let's get our snowman going the right way, we'll go in the middle. Just like that. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Wonderful. Okay, now let's go ahead and bring in these 2 last pieces of layering that we're going to do. And I'm just going to not rely on my measurements here. This is 1 inch by 3 3/4, 1 inch by 3 3/4, real red, and my whisper white is 3/4 by 3 1/2, 3/4 by 3 1/2, and the real red is 1 by 3 3/4. Okay, so now we're going to stamp on this white piece in real red. We're going to use our Merry Christmas, such a pretty font on this, and I should have my foam mat under there. Just ink that up, and then this I want in the middle, best I can. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Oh, so pretty. Okay, now this one is going to have border top, bottom, all the way around. So here we're going to go with just a little snail back here. And we're going to attach it here, leaving that nice 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. Absolutely perfect. Now we're going to add dimensionals to this. And I think 3 will be fine. I'll take the backs off and we're going to put this aside for just a second. So here's our element with our sentiment, and we're putting that aside. Now I'm going to come in here with our Coastal Cabana, and I'm going to, again, bring my foam mat in. And I'm going to open this up and do Let It Snow in the middle in Coastal Cabana. Cute. And then our snowflakes. You know, I've used this entire stamp set, and I'll show you on the box in the next card, except for 2 little elements, and only because I didn't do tags did I not use those other 2 elements. So here's our envelope and just our snowflakes. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Always got to decorate our envelope, and we'll move that aside. And we have this ready. And let's bring in our medallions. Let's talk about these circles. Again, this layering circles. The outside one is about 3 inches from one side to the other. The scalloped one, which is our inside one, and we'll stamp on that, is about 2 3/4 inches. So they layer nicely like this. Okay, that's nice. And on here, we're going to take this little guy right here that's just so happy and looking up to the snow and like juggling the snowballs, it looks to me. And we're going to stamp him in Tuxedo Memento black ink. And he's going right in the center here. Perfect. He is perfect. Oh, he's so cute. Okay, now we are going to color. Let's use our dark pumpkin pie for his nose. So sweet. Then I'm going to use some dark pool party for his feet. His little foot here that's lifted up. And a little shading right here on his leg. And then I'm going to do our snowflakes right here that he's juggling with the dark pool party. Just like that. Just to give those little things a little color. Not much. I'm using dark flirty flamingo. Now instead of red cheeks, I want pink cheeks on him. Just a little something different. Some rosy cheeks. I love that. And we are going to get in 2 pieces of coal, a little one and a big one, for our buttons. Right there. That comes from that embellishment kit. And I want to use some dark smoky slate now on the rocks. Right here. There. And that's all for that. Now we're going to take this and snail it to our red circle. And our red circle is not scalloped. So I've been trying to show you, like in these videos, how you can layer your circles from scalloped to not scalloped to scalloped. I mean, you know, there's endless possibilities. I got a little black smudge there, but I'm okay with that. We're going to have to be. Let me see if I can get the eraser. I'll try it, but I'm not saying that it's going to work. Because this is Memento. Well, that helped a little bit. Okay. All right, we're happy with that, even happier with that. Now, this will go on our card right here, and we want it here. We want it to intersect this layer here, intersect this layer, but have a little bit showing over here, all right? So, again, dimensionals. So I guess what we're trying to accomplish here with this layer is to show all the other layers underneath it. And like I said, this is a great layout. If you have any other, like the Come Gather Together set, this would be a great layout for it because there's a lot of nice DSP. So I like that right there. And see, I'm showing here, of course I'm showing my background, I'm showing this layer, I've got this layer showing also, okay? And a little bit on this edge right here, so that's important. Now we're going to bring in our Merry Christmas, and that's just going to go right across the bottom, allowing it, we want to see our sides, good. We want to see this layering here, from the red to the DSP to the red to the white, okay, just like that. So here is our third card. I hope you've enjoyed this little class, and I hope it's giving you guys a lot of ideas what to do with some of your other product that you might have, and how to lay these things out, and how to work around some layering aspects of card making. I'll be back in a moment, and we're going to put that gatefold card together. Now we're going to move on to our gatefold card with our snowman. I didn't even do a sentiment on the front of this one because that snowman just says everything. He's just happy and waving, and it just didn't even need a sentiment. The gatefold card is one of my favorite fancy fold cards to do. So let's open this up, and it's just going to open and say Merry Christmas. So very fun to do in the craft room. And this is something that you can mass produce. It's really not that difficult. The paper, the DSP really does the work for us on this one. So, and of course we have our envelope. Let's go over some measurements. Here is the gatefold. Now this piece of cardstock is 8.5 by 5.5, but you do not score it at 4 1/4. You score each end at 1 1/8. So I put it in the trimmer, I scored it 1 1/8, I flipped it and scored it 1 1/8. I promise you, that is better than doing 2 measurements, because see, when you put this together, this has to meet right here. And you're better off by flipping it and doing 1 1/8. Now, when I do this, and then I use my bone folder, this is what I wanted to show you guys. I hold this together, because sometimes you need to scooch the paper a little bit in, like let it meet and hold it, and then use your bone folder. Remember, when you use a bone folder, start in the middle and go out. Then you can go up and down. It's just so that the paper doesn't shift on you. And then here, and see, this is raised a little. We're going to get that right out of there, and that will close right here just perfectly, okay? So a little tip on that. And at the end of this card, I'm going to bring this punch back in, a piece of scrap paper and the Stamparatus, and I'm going to show you how to make the template. Because I was like, I talked about it, but I didn't show you. So, you know, it's a card class. So, you know, you could do 1 card a day. If the videos are long for you, that's okay. Just do 1 card a weekend. How much fun is that? Okay, so we have this measurement already. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored on either end at 2 1/8. Then we have some Coastal Cabana right here. This is at 5 1/4 by 4, and then my Whisper White piece, this is regular cardstock at 4 3 3/4 by 3 1/2. You'll need 2 pieces of real red if you're going to duplicate the card. But again, this is a great card that you could use any DSP with. Just change the colors, that's all, but use the same measurements, okay? So this real red is 2 by 5 3/8, so you'll need 2 of these, 1 for each side of the gate. And then the DSP is 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. To make our belly band, we have a piece of real red at 1 by 9 and a piece of DSP at 3/4 of an inch by 9 inches, okay? Then I've cut the ovals out of the DSP. And let me get my ruler. And we'll go through these measurements. And I'm doing this just in case, you know, I would love if you all had all of the framelits and everything that, you know, Stampin' Up! Provides. But if you have a Cricut, you can almost get to these measurements and they'll be fine, okay? You could just measure an oval, and this one's right at about, it's almost at 3 inches, so I would say 3 inches, okay? And then this other oval, and these are straight, neither one is scalloped. And this is like at almost like 2.5. Okay, it's really about 2 5/8. 2 5/8, so you could even do 2.5 if you were doing a Cricut. And this 3 would be fine. And you would still get the same look because I left a little bit more of a border with this one. See, it doesn't, there's a little bit of space there. So these will layer like this. Okay, and you see more of the stripe behind that. I think that's cute. So let's go ahead and attach this to our oval while we've got it right out here. Might as well. Little snail. And just centering this here. Okay, now let's go ahead and move this to the side. And let's bring our belly band in. You want to go ahead and put some snail on one side. Whatever side you're going to use to show is fine. I just picked the snowflakes. And I want this to come right to the edge. And there's no scoring involved in this. All right, just like that. And it will overlap. We'll get back to this in just a moment. Let's go ahead and get these layers done of our real red and our DSP right here. Yeah, well, while I was off camera getting ready for the next one, I was like, no, I need to show them just in case you don't know how to make that template. It won't take a second, and we'll go through it real quick. Now this has a very skinny border around it, around both of them, like about 1/16 of an inch. Just like that. Okay, now we want to go ahead and attach these to our gatefold right here on either side. And again, this is just snail because we don't have anything embossed. The snail will hold fine. If you have no snail, use your combo. Now we're going to have a very, very skinny border of white just to offset that red just a little bit, just like that. Does that show pretty good there? Yeah. Yes, it does. Very nice. And then this side. And again, this gives a nice solidness to the card, that it's not floppy, you know, and not thin. So by using, you know, always by using layers, you give your card a little bit of weight, and it's just nice. Okay, good. Perfect. That is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, happy with that. Now, as far as your belly band, I score nothing. I just take it and I wrap it around the card lightly, okay, leaving just like a little, you know, you don't want this to be folded with a bone folder, okay? So I just wrap it like that. Now watch, see how it's just kind of creased? And you're going to bring your shape in here, but you're going to have this much, see, to hold the card. You don't want it smashed, okay, on either side. You absolutely do not want that smashed. Now I'm going to put a little Tombow there, and I do want Tombow for this, or you could use like tear and tape, because this, you really want it to stick for like the rest of your life. Okay, and I'm going to just bring this in and just hold that. Kind of bringing my, sorry, I might have been out of camera there for a second. Just bringing that together, making sure that I have, see that space that I have? Making sure I've got that space. Beautiful. Now this should slip right over this. Yes, and it does. Oh, that's perfect. See how nice that is? And it holds those gates together. That's absolutely perfect. That could have been maybe just a little bit tighter. Actually, no. No, you don't want it tight. You just don't. That's wonderful. Okay, let's slide that off. And we're going to let this sit and set up for us. We're going to work on the inside of the card now. Bringing in our Whisper White piece. That's 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And our Merry Christmas. I need my real red and Coastal Cabana, don't I? So again, the Coastal Cabana will be the snowflakes. And we'll get a Whisper White envelope also for snowflakes. Here we go. Up in this corner, down in that corner. And I'm not using my foam mat, am I? We'll be okay. Okay, we're good. But to do the Merry Christmas, I am. I just don't want to have something not, you know, not take a full, see, like in here, I didn't use it, but see, it's a little bit, it's there, and it's okay, but you've seen the other stamps. It really does help to have this. Sometimes I get lazy. Here we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let me put that on there. Get that out of the way. And we are done with our stamping for this card. Let me move these out of the way. And I can take my foam out of the way. And now we're going to bring our Coastal Cabana piece in, and this is 5 1/4 by 4. I wanted a larger border so that the larger border would kind of mimic this larger border. So this just goes here. Just like that. And then, and when you layer the inside of the card, again, it just gives it some bulk and steadiness that it's not, and I also like to use thick Whisper White cardstock for the outsides of my cards. And that helps a whole lot also. And there we go for the inside. Isn't that cute? Just so pretty. Oh, wait. Look what I did. I forgot to stamp my envelope, didn't I? Amazing. Or no, I did. I just had an extra one here. Okay. I saw that extra envelope there and I was like, I thought I did that in my head, but then I was like, well, maybe I didn't. I always second guess myself. Okay. So, all right. Now we are going to bring in, we need our embellishment kit and we need our little arms here and our felt. I've used a lot of this. And on these cards, I love this washi tape. This is great washi tape. It's very iridescent, has red in it. Very pretty. But I just didn't use it on any of these cards. You could always add it. Now, you want this paper right here out of that stack. And your punch will cut out this snowman right here. So let's just, first what you do though is cut it out. Okay? Cut your snowman out. So that you don't bring that whole punch in here and then wind up messing up your other snowman on, you know, or something on the other side. So I cut mine out. And then I already know I've got to cut the bottom off here. Now you could use a quick pick tool or a post-it note or just try to get it into the punch. I know better, right? Because I'm on camera. And any other time I could slide it right in and here we would go. I'm going to get a post-it note. Let me show you this. And just take the sticky part of it and attach it to your cardstock. This gives you a handle. And I slide it in. Isn't that nice? And then we punch. And that sticky note just gives you a nice little handle. So the punch punches out that snowman quite well. And look, we really wasted nothing. Okay? So he's going to get popped up with dimensionals. And we're just going to put them on him right now. right here. Right down his little body. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and bring our little medallion in there, our oval, and we're going to attach our little guy right here in the middle. Now, once again, he has no character but just a face. And watch how we are going to make this little guy come alive. We're going to take our little arms and we're going to apply them and make him very happy. He's going to have, yay, happy arms. Yay, I'm the snowman. Okay, now we're going to take this, the felt. Now the felt comes in different colors, the pink and the blue, the Coastal Cabana, and that pink color right there, maybe it's a coral, I think might be coral, Calypso coral, and then this red. I'm going to use the red. So sweet. We are going to put, look at that, a scarf on him. Oh my goodness. For this, because it's felt, I'm using definitely the glue dots. So let's see, where's he going to go? Right there. I want a glue dot on the tip. And then one more toward the middle. Just to hold his scarf down. He's going to go right there. Isn't that adorable? Now we're going to put his hat on. These are so much fun. Right here, and I'm going to tip his little hat to the side. Now this little hat, though, I am going to use a mini dimensional because I need it to be popped up with him. I needed this to be on the same plane as the snowman where he's popped up a little bit. So I'm going to put his little hat to the side. Isn't he cute? Oh my goodness. Okay, now his little mittens. And his little mittens are going to get glue dots. And like I did, let's see, I didn't pick that one up. Like I did with this one, he's going to be saying hello, waving. Isn't that cute? And then his other mitten. And this one's going to kind of go down just to give him a little character. Isn't that adorable? Oh, he's sweet. He's just sweet. That's fun. Okay. I'm very happy with that. I get my glue dots put away. And this also. And we're done with our embellishments. Like I said before, if you have crafty friends, this is a fantastic gift. Just that box. It's already, looks like it's already wrapped, right? Okay, now we're going to bring our card in and I'm going to show you how to attach this. We want to put our belly band on. Just like that. And we want this in the middle. Okay, so we want to put, get that straight. I want 3 dimensionals across the center there. And I want it, let's see, one here, and one here. Okay, that should get it. Perfect. Did you see how I just put my finger there and just eyeballed it onto the card? No measuring. I do the least amount of measuring that I need to. I have to admit that. Okay, right here and in the center. And he is attached to your belly band right here. Now that card is done. Oh, and he is just adorable. Too cute, guys. Too stinking cute for this card right here. Oh, I love a belly band. I love the gatefold. It's one of my, like I say, it's just one of my absolutely favorite cards to cut and design is a gatefold. They're a lot of fun. Okay, so let me put that there. We're going to look at our cards in just a moment. Let's talk about doing this template. Okay. I have a piece of regular Whisper White right here. I'm going to punch this out. Now, this is your template. Let me cut this across here. Okay. So let's just put this down. Okay. And now let's go ahead and bring our stamp set in. I'm going to add my snowman with like the stamp side down, okay? And then my hands. Whoops, sorry, stamp side down. Flat side up. Find the one that it fits into. That one fits there. And then this one fits here. Okay, do you see what I'm saying about this is really close and why I just on camera had decided to, my hat. Right here, stamp side down. Okay, right in there. Okay. Do we have it? I believe we do. Now, we take the door and we close it. And we pick up everything. Okay, now, that is in the position of the stamp. Okay, that is, the punch. That stamp is in position of this punch. I'm going to just add some paper here, just over top of that template. Okay, and let's go ahead. And I'm just going to do everything in Tuxedo Memento black ink. Just like that. And I'll do it one more time because I'll probably use it because this, hopefully it'll come out. I don't know. All right, now we should have it to where it lines up perfectly. And it does. Okay. So just line your little stuff up. It's lined up perfectly. Honest to God, honest to goodness, guys, look at that. Now, if you wanted to use different ink, you could just like ink up, use a Stampin' Spot maybe, ink up your snowman, then do your arms in brown, and your hat would be black anyway. But the little black arms look fine too, and watch. Whoop. An arm went flying. Anyway, so here we've got all of our pieces. Here we go. No, it didn't. Something else went flying. Okay. There's our hat. There's our arms. And there's our snowman. And here, you can always keep this template. Okay, this template, you know, you put the paper even behind the template and just stamp, you know, but here you go. It really did a great job by lining it up like that. We have all of our pieces right there. Isn't that perfect? So this is a very versatile set, and I so appreciate you all purchasing it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this wonderful card class that I've put together for us. I'm going to move my envelopes out of the way because they create a lot of bulk. But here are our cards that we did today. Fun, 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 and fun. Thank you so much. I appreciate every one of you. I appreciate you as my customers, my downlines, my Paper Pumpkin subscribers, every one of you guys. I could not do this without you. I couldn't have even the creativity that I muster up, you know, to be able to share things with you, and if you guys were not so receptive and wonderful to me. I do appreciate every one of you, and I hope you enjoy this class. Happy crafting!